We have a swarm of the earthquakes in the Canary Islands, where we had the eruption of the Cumbre Vieja volcano, the exact location, in 2021. A swarm of the earthquake is rising from the depth of the 14 to 7 kilometers. Practically, these are the earthquakes which make the way, open the way for the magma to rise. This is the magma forming at the mantle or above it in the lower crust, and then rising to the shallow reservoir at the depth of the 6-7 kilometers. And from there, it can erupt in coming months or years. This is the scenario which happened previously in 2021 when we saw in this hill, previously unexpected by the people, we had an eruption. Of course, the surface was renewed. You could see that. The geologist will see that the surface is new, no vegetation grown on that. So that means the area is quite young before the last eruption happened. But in the living memory, people probably didn't care about that. The eruption burned the nearby forest, and before long ended up in an inferno, burning all the area around it. The villages and the towns were evacuated. It engulfed the whole hillside area of that region in the Canary Islands. This is the eruption related to the hot spot mantle plumes rising from the Earth's core mantle boundary and touching like a torch the earth crust and making a hole practically through it and melting it and creating these eruptions we see. It's like a torch of a welding, as oxyacetylene or any other torch that actually can go through the metals. This is also similar to that. The eruption resulted in lava flows extending all the way downhill toward the ocean. This is off the coast of Africa, this Canary Island Mantle Plume, as I showed you on the map. The huge rafts of the lava boats we call them, were visible here. One of the biggest ones we have ever seen in any eruption, which is filmed in our time, may have existed in the past, may not be witnessed or may not be recorded, but this one is recorded. We have it on the, on the film, on the imaging equipment, and this is how it happened. We see the huge rafts, huge boats of the solidified lava from previous eruptions, or even from this one at the banks of this lava flow, then again being eroded away, worn out, and carried downhill like a huge boats practically. You see, this is like an iceberg. Most of it is inside the molten lava, and some part of it, like an iceberg, is out. When it rises, you can see the huge size of it. When it goes into shallow part, trying to pass through the gaps and then falling back again to the lava pool, you can see. Also, it burned the road. The metal guards of the road was nothing for it, just melted down and moved toward the ocean as it was visible in these images that you could see in that year. Similar scenario may happen again. When it reached the ocean, we had this huge apocalyptic view, and I mentioned any moment you expected like a Jurassic Park or the Jurassic Age period on the Earth history. We end up with something like a like a dinosaur any moment, or King Kong. Of course, they're not contemporary together. They cannot be in the same time. But anyway, this is imaginary thing. The model that we created showed the spread and the addition of the lava to the island, creating a headland. They get eroded gradually, but the aftermath of it was really enormous for the people to clear out. At the same time, the eruption was continuing. We had huge damage to the buildings and properties. Ancient churches collapsed. These are the 300, 400 years, 500 years, some of them. All the buildings collapsing. The houses were burnt We couldn't do anything to stop it practically. We had to evacuate before the fierce forces of nature, and you could see the effect of it from the space in the form of these huge dust clouds rise into the sky. A storm of the earthquakes of 500 earthquakes shows that a new eruption is on the way.